After what feels like nearly half a decade, probably because it has been, Wright is finally upping their game. We are actually getting more than one full visual and gameplay update this year. Yet despite the recent track record of knowing the chosen champions well in advance, we still don't know who this second mystery VGU is. Except I do. Me! Through research, champion statistics, good old-fashioned facts and logic, and my impeccable prediction skills, I'm well within 100% certainty that there's going to be an entire Void-centric event next year.
Wah, wah, wah.
I have determined without a shadow of a doubt that the mystery Arcane VGU could only be one champion.
It's Viktor.
But how? How can I be so sure on information we don't know? Because we can piece together information that we do know. We know that this mystery VGU is a champion from implying they were already a part of it during Season 1 or will be introduced in Season 2. We know their identity is being kept a secret on purpose, primarily because something so major happens to them in Season 2 that releasing the rework any sooner than the finale would spoil it. And lastly, that this is a full VGU and not an ASU, meaning everything from model, animation, splash art, voice lines, lore, you name it, it's all going to change. So taking all that into account, we can immediately look at the current Arcane cast and also immediately deduct several possibilities. We know it's not going to be Caitlyn, Heimerdinger, or Vander, all of which have already gotten ASUs and a VGU respectively. It's not going to be Jinx, Vi, or Jace. They're way too popular, though their models haven't aged too gracefully, so an ASU couldn't hurt. And all Echo really needs is new voice lines so that League of Legends isn't the one Riot property where he isn't voiced by Reed Shannon. However, there's a different thing to take into account here. There is the very real possibility our mystery VGU is a spoiler, not because a champion we know will change over the course of the season, but because they'll make their first appearance in Season 2, and it's supposed to be a surprise. Well, considering so many of the Piltovers on champions are already up to modern standards, realistically, I think that leaves us with 4 potential wildcard picks. There was an ongoing theory for the longest time that the juiced up rat from episode 1 was supposed to be Twitch, that this was his origin story somehow. Personally, I find that highly unlikely, as the rat already got an ASU before ASUs were even called ASUs, and I doubt Wright would spend all that money on a VTuber model for Wild Rift only for the design to be obsolete months later. So I guess that is kind of on brand for the genre, isn't it? Murals and statues for Janna made surprise appearances in both Season 2 trailers, leading many to believe she might make a full appearance in the show, potentially using her LOR redesign as a foundation for the VGU. But in all honesty, that's probably just an Easter egg. For a show with a narrative centered around human intuition and inventiveness, the haunting realization of our own mortality, suddenly introducing an immortal god as a main character, yeah, it might detract from the core themes a bit, as much as I want that LOR redesign to be real. Lastly, we have Blitzcrank and Orianna. Both already have strong ties to current members of the Arcane cast. In the old lore, Blitz's creation is a pivotal part of Viktor's character growth, and it is highly speculated that in this new timeline, Orianna has obtained a significantly worse father figure. Perhaps she was that love and legacy he sacrificed in the name of progress all those years ago. However, as interesting as it could be, and as much as both these bots could use a visual glow up, their gameplay doesn't really need a whole lot of tweaking, and more importantly, the timing of that would be wildly impractical. However, only just recently we have one last surprise wildcard entering the ring, and that's LeBlanc. Because this shadowy figure in the second trailer that is almost 100% supposed to be a shadowy vision of Silco has LeBlanc's signature face markings for a whole 3 frames. Undoubtedly, LeBlanc could use a full visual and gameplay update. Hell, I'd argue she needs it more than most champions in the game. But with all the hype that Mbessa Medarda is getting leading up to her release, to me anyway, introducing LeBlanc into the story would only serve to rob Mbessa of her spotlight. I could be totally wrong, it could be LeBlanc all along, but to me, this argument was always between 2 champions: Viktor and Singed. Now technically Singed did get a model update all the way back in 2014, but that was kind of it, just increasing the polygon count. He is absolutely due for a major design revamp, and now would be the perfect time to do so. Despite barely rising above 7 minutes of total screen time, Singed was the surprise star of Season 1 and will undoubtedly play a more significant role in Season 2 with Warwick's creation. The one thing holding him back is that reworking Singed successfully would be almost impossible. His gameplay is already already iconic, his lore is already amazing. Trying to improve on either one of these things would be challenging enough, but Sin's biggest problem historically is that these are two entirely different characters. You cannot tell me the brain-dead gameplay of a chemistry set abusing psychopath sprinting around the rift committing war crimes like it's his casual hobby is the same cold, calculating, crippled scientist we see not just in Arcane, but in his own biography and short stories. Though there is the reasonable conclusion Season 2 will end with a cyborg Singed augmented to such a degree he can keep pace with the Flash. But the difficulty of marrying these two amazing yet polar opposite attributes is likely the biggest mark against Singed getting the mystery VGU. Actually, it's probably a 750 RP Singed skin being data mined on the PBE, and also that Riot Bright Moon outright told high-level Singed mains it wasn't going to be him. But I mean, game directors have lied before.
Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
6 months later.
He lied! He lied! He lied! He lied to us! Oh my God!
When all the cards are stacked out and logic is weighed, there's only one real option here. Singed may have been the surprise star of Season 1, but the breakout star was undoubtedly Viktor. Because before Arcane, nobody knew this champion, who hardly mained and rarely ever played. It was no wonder Riot forgot he existed half the time. But after Arcane's premiere, guess whose play rate skyrocketed? Players both old and more importantly new were excited to take their favorite machine head from the show out for a spin in League, only to make their own head spin once they realized who the real Viktor was. There's anti-heroes, even anti-villains. Viktor is an I don't even know what my morals are supposed to be.
There will be anarchy.
Almost annually flip-flopping between a virtuous savior just trying to better the lives of Zonites through machine enhancements, or a terrifying radical revolutionary surrounding himself with a cult of mechanized mutton heads wanting to purge human weakness by replacing it with metal. Unlike most of the champions in the core cast, Viktor actually serves to benefit from the dreaded Arcane retcon, to give him an actual solidified motive, personality, and power source. While in lore, Hextech is still magical, but more closely tied to actual technology. In the show, Shimmer is even more magical, void-like even. It's clear that Viktor's patented Hex core is moving away from pure robotics. What's the point of trying to start up this glorious revolution to cybernetically enhance everybody when cybernetically enhanced humans and even full-on sentient robots are already commonplace? So because magic and Shimmer are considered more heavily taboo in this version of Piltover, by changing Viktor to use that as his power source, it technically hybridizes both flip-flop versions of him. Now he's a tragic character doomed to die by no fault of his own, taking drastic measures to save those science could not by using an incomprehensible and morally ambiguous technology, forcing it upon himself and eventually others, resulting in his own and others' destruction. And not just for a narrative's sake, by incorporating this magic Hex core into his kit, it would massively expand his thematic potential. For the League Zoomers out there, Hex core used to be its own dedicated item only Viktor could buy. This was also back when Cass could actually buy shoes. So since in Arcane the Hex core is what's powering his transformation, why not expand upon that idea? Maybe bring the Hex core item back, have it evolve over the course of the game, have his model evolve over the course of the game. Though if we're being truthful, he certainly doesn't need radical gameplay changes, definitely not as much as some of the other champions on the top priority list, but if we can also be honest, his kit isn't without its faults either. Incredibly clunky pro play dominance whenever he is meta. Top lane tank Viktor, anyone? Of course you don't need to do incredibly radical changes, I mean just look at Ezreal, man's had only one ability change and he is still considered a VGU. Of course with all that being said, that's just rationalizing how it could happen.
And why should we believe you?
Besides just deducting other champion options, do we have any other evidence to support that a Viktor VGU might be happening? Well, an important thing to look at is the Riot collaboration. We already know that Riot is preparing another cross-game promotional event, meaning we will likely see Arcane-related content coming to nearly all of Riot's games. Last time around, for League of Legends, we got the Hextech-inspired map, multiple Arcane-related skins, and the Caitlyn ASU. Wild Rift got something very similar, as well as the addition of Caitlyn and Jace, and with Legends of Runeterra, they got Jace.
You suck.
Well, it is curious that Wild Rift is already delving into the Hextech aesthetic with the T-Hex, but they already teased the new champions arriving in the next patch. Heimerdinger, Ambessa, and one other mystery champion they have yet to announce. Wild Rift has had these pretty great themes going on for the champion releases for the past little while, so it becomes very interesting that with Heimer's addition, Viktor is the only Arcane champion not yet in everyone's favorite gacha game. And this goes double for LOR, the Arcane bias is in full effect, with nearly every single path expansion since they started doing them, including an Arcane Arcane champion. Jace, Vi, Caitlyn, and Heimerdinger joining the already existing in Path Jinx and Echo. So now every single Arcane champion is also playable in Path, except Viktor. But of course, the most major clue supporting the Viktor VGU theory is because of a crucial detail Riot told us from the very beginning, that the VGU is releasing after Arcane specifically because it is a spoiler. And tell me, who could be a better candidate than the one we've already seen change, know that they're gonna change even farther, whose set appearance is already diverting quite drastically from their league counterpart, and suspiciously has hardly appeared in any of the promotional material for Season 2 thus far. Almost like revealing Viktor's appearance would be a massive spoiler? In my dumb little gremlin brain, I like to think this was a choice inspired off of something different. That Arcane Viktor was supposed to be just like Firelight Echo, nothing more than a skin. But after the success of Caitlyn's ASU, Viktor's popularity soaring farther than he could have ever possibly dreamed, and the expanded role he's gonna have in Season 2, a basic-ass skin could never capture the essence of what League players are hoping for, this new fan favorite. And I believe Riot and the devs saw an opportunity to expand on that idea, to make Viktor canon, to strive to make this alternate version of Viktor everyone fell in love with, the real version. I can relate to that. The one major hiccup in this theory is that we now know he is getting a legendary skin sometime in the latter half of this year. Cause in the past, that would have been the nail in the coffin. There is no way Riot would ever release a legendary for a champion who is so close to getting a visual update.
Not anymore.
The best case scenario here, Viktor is getting the VGU based on his new design in Season 2, while the legendary is him during Season 1, giving him a skin that finally exists in the game that people actually liked him in the first place for. But the worst case scenario is Viktor doesn't get the VGU and his legendary is just the Arcane version, so people have to pay $20 for the actual real version of Viktor, while the base game Viktor is a version that doesn't even canonically exist anymore. Whether or not each of those things end up happening, this is a prediction I'm pretty confident in, despite credible source SpiderAxe himself stating that the mystery VGU was not gonna be Viktor. But unfortunately, this video has been rewritten so many times that over that time, other sources leaked that the VGU is gonna be Viktor, and also leaked the entire first half of Season 2. But guys, leak spilled hype, right? But those are my thoughts. What do you fellas think of our potential Viktor VGU? I'm pretty certain of this one, but I've been wrong before. A lot. So if you have your own thoughts or predictions, be sure to tell me down in the comments below. Perhaps you have even more evidence to prove this theory correct I didn't catch. Maybe you're still on Team Singed or now on LeBlanc's bandwagon. Regardless, thank you fellas for watching this video, listening to my insane ramblings, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.